Hey, wake up! It's time to start the show. Glad to see you all aboard Mouse Ears in Paradise. Let's get this show rolling.
Welcome to Mouse Ears in Paradise. I'm Dave.
And I'm Becky.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! It's 2025. It has arrived.
Yes. In all its fame and glory. And,
For better or worse.
For better or worse, here we are.
Actually, it's an exciting year.
It is.
We're going to celebrate 20 years of marriage this year.
It is.
Hopefully. We make it another 4 months to the 20-year mark. All signs point to yes.
Yes, so far so good.
You haven't left me yet, so that's good. We have a cruise plan. We have a Disney World trip plan.
Yep.
Who knows?
And who knows what the future holds.
Did you set any goals for the new year?
I really haven't had the brain space to do that yet.
Okay. No new travel goals?
No new travel goals. I feel like we already kind of have those set.
Feel like they're there? Okay. No need for more?
Uh-huh.
I still have more. So.
I'm sure you do.
I need another international trip. I think this might be the year.
This might be the year. Well, I don't know.
I'm going to have to make some more money first.
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends on a lot of things. We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
If certain things happen, sure.
Yeah. Ooh, what are those things? What boxes do I have to check? So
you'll have to figure it
out. There's a chance. I like it.
All right, so this episode, we were going to share with you a trip report of, we just got back from Maui. We go to Maui almost every holiday. And so this is kind of the annual trip with the family and extended family.
Woohoo!
It was,
13 people.
13 people in total. So fairly big group. And wanted to share kind of, how it went and maybe some things we did, learned. Things we wish we hadn't done, things we couldn't do.
So, I feel like every time that we go away for the winter holiday, something goes wrong. Do you agree with that? In general, during this 2-week break between Christmas and New Year's, I feel like somebody gets sick, always. Sometimes worse than others. Somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, it looks different every year.
But generally you can count on, well, let's put it this way. Our daughter, about 4 weeks prior to our vacation, started praying every night that nobody would go to the ER over Christmas. Which tells you it happens frequently enough that the 9-year-old is concerned.
Yeah. And it's
spoiler alert.
It's not always the same person either. It's pretty much never. I mean, it rotates pretty evenly
every time.
Yeah. So is that where we want to start off with that?
I mean, we may as well just break the news that we ended up in the urgent care.
Yeah. So we went to Maui. So we're Maui South Side, Kihei, Wailea, which is the opposite end of what we did in July. If you listen to our July episode. So I think it was the second night we were there. The kids wanted to go frog hunting. This is kind of a thing they do with their grandpa. They take flashlights. There's this kind of fake, / real river. There's animals and stuff in it, but it's man-made river. And so there's usually frogs around it at night. And so they go and they just kind of look for them and try and touch them and then scream and run and stuff type of thing.
It's a whole thing.
So they're not capturing them, killing them or anything like that.
No.
But I was tagging along because it was kind of on our path between the grandparents and our condo. And it's kind of this big open grassy area, and I was walking along and stepped into a pothole, or whatever you want to call it. It was dark, and even if it wasn't dark, the grass just gets cut kind of evenly, so you can't really see where there's changes. Rolled my ankle pretty severely. So I think that was on Thursday night. By Saturday night, I was doing pretty good. I had rested it, iced it, blah, blah, blah. Sunday morning, woke up in serious, severe pain. I think I probably just overused it on that Saturday.
I think you probably did.
But it was bad. So went to urgent care on Monday, got x-rays, all of that jazz, got a boot, crutches, and the initial diagnosis was it was broken.
Yeah.
But had to hear back from the radiologist. Didn't hear back from the radiologist until Thursday, because doing your math, the Monday that we went was the 30th, which meant the 31st and the first, more or less holidays. They were open, but I called them on the 31st, and they were basically like, "Don't call us, we'll call you," and you just have to wait. And so didn't hear back until Thursday morning when they're like, "Oh no, it's not broken, just a severe sprain, and you're going to need to go see a orthopedic."
Yep.
So. Yeah, so I ended up in a boot, or at least injured for pretty much the majority of our trip.
You didn't really see much of Maui this time.
I mean, we got out. I got out a little bit, but yeah, it was for me. I saw a lot of the condo, and
so much condo,
all the condo. Thankfully, it was very comfortable. I was fine, but it was not the excitement that you hope. But we do. I can tell. We know where the urgent cares.
We know where a couple of them are.
Yeah, there's. I think I can think of at least 3 offhand that I could drive to without even looking up now. So that was the major excitement. I'm still sitting here with a boot and crutches and on the road to recovery.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
7 weeks to Disney World.
Yeah, which the orthopedic doctor seemed optimistic that we should be fine by then,
which was good.
Yeah.
So.
But physical therapy in my future.
Yes, definitely. His wife decreed it.
So that's kind of the so we're not burying the lead. That was one of the big excitement things. It's thankfully it's not broken, although today alone I've had 3 people tell me that it's almost worse when it's not broken. So that was encouraging.
It's true.
So let's what else were some major events
I
highlights?
feel like we found a lot of sea creatures this trip. So we went to Keowakapu Beach, which is kind of halfway between Kihei and Wailea, and we enjoy that beach for a lot of different reasons, but we found a lot of critters just hanging out in the ocean this year. Normally we're pretty big tide pool people. Drew especially really enjoys the tide pools. But we had a lot of stuff just floating in the ocean, like conchs, and we found starfish just floating at the beach this year. Picked up a really, really large sea urchin that thankfully nobody stepped on. And so we rescued that from the ocean and took that out and brought it to the tide pools rather than on the sandy beach where people are walking in and out. A bunch of sea cucumbers, a bunch of sea stars, urchins. Yeah, just a lot of things.
You saw some jumping fish.
Oh, yeah. We saw flying fish this year very close to us. Lots and lots of turtles. Not very many whales. So
dolphins?
Saw no dolphins this trip. Did see a lionfish out snorkeling. That was pretty cool. So a lot of really neat sea animals and sea creatures. It's interesting. Every year is different, right? People often ask, like, well, what should we do when we go to Maui? Like, I get that. You go to Maui every year. What should we do? And I really tell people, like, the magic is the water. I think the ocean provides a lot of adventure and just a lot of interesting things. And it did not disappoint this year. There was a lot of adventure in the ocean.
Yeah, there was one that kept the kids out of the water one day.
Well, the waves were so big. This was not the shark trip.
No. But there was an ambulance.
Oh, yeah. We had somebody. So you do have to be careful. The waves were pretty big. We had some swells. It said that they were going to be 3 to 5 feet. They were big. I think probably a couple of them were bigger than 5-foot swells, but they're crashing right on the beach. So they're not like a slow crash. You kind of have to be careful and be thoughtful. But somebody did have a medical emergency on the beach this year and get slammed by a wave and had to get backboarded on a surfboard. And then the ambulance did take them. And that ambulance was not fast, which is, I'm sure there were I'm sure there were issues all over the island, so I get it. Like,
Sure.
I think that was a manpower thing, I don't think that was like a Hawaii ambulance issue. That was
No.
just like,
They're
they're
busy.
probably running from one thing to the next
Yeah.
on a day like that. But, so you do have to be thoughtful. And I think my dad and I were talking about how when you grow up on the water, you learn to read the water, and how, because we rented a paddleboard one day, and you can kind of see on the water like where the wind picks up and what direction the wind is blowing by looking at the water. And he's like, you kids always knew how to read the water because we grew up sailing, but your kids, like Emma took off on the paddleboard straight into the wind. She's like, she doesn't know. Like, it's not occurred to her to watch the water to figure out what's going on. And I hadn't really thought about that, but you have to pay attention to the ocean.
Yeah.
It's not like, that's one of the things, and we've talked about this before. Like, there were a couple of times it's like, really could use a Disney beach about now where like everything is just
Everything's perfect.
safe, right? Like, you're not going to step, and we didn't step on them, but we came a little closer to stepping on this sea urchin than I would have liked. And
Which
that
is
would have
rare. That's not a common. I can't think of the last time that's almost happened on that beach.
And they are an invasive species, so I know it's like an issue, but yeah, like that just won't happen on Castaway Key, really.
Right. That'd be
'Cause
pretty surprising.
Everything gets swept, right? And and you don't have to worry about these big swells
Right.
knocking over your kid, because it's just not going to happen. So they're not going to be able to dock if that's what's going on. But
Which we've had that before too.
yeah. So there's magic both ways, right? It's cool to see what nature brings, and I'll be interested to see how Lighthouse Point compares in a couple of months, and see what that does as far as like just ocean life and things like that. We'll be snorkeling there, hopefully, if the water's not too cold. But yeah, it'll be something. But
And you guys went to the aquarium.
we went to the Ocean Discovery Center.
Okay.
Yes, it is an aquarium essentially. So my sister-in-law had not been, and so she wanted to go, so we went. Dave did not go.
No, I decided to skip out on this journey.
Yeah, it's expensive to go to it was $200 for us to go to the aquarium, which is fine, and it makes Disney look like a steal. But because we were there for an hour and a half to,
They do a pretty nice
But
job.
it is
It's a decent
nice
aquarium.
Yeah, my sister-in-law loved it because she's like, I feel like I got to go snorkeling without getting wet. And so that's,
Yeah.
it is like, and you do get to see all the fish. You get to
Yeah,
see
and they
them
try to
all,
integrate
and
like some Hawaiian culture.
they
and-
do. They
and
do a
stuff
nice
and,
job of
and-
that.
and history into it, and
Yeah.
like how even Native Hawaiians long ago, they understood kind of like how to manage sea and ocean and fish and stuff like that without harming it, and kind of
Yeah.
live with it, and stuff like that, which is fascinating and interesting.
is.
Like way more advanced
I
than
know.
you would perhaps expect. So
Yeah,
it's
big
pretty impressive.
exhibit on Kahului, which is pretty interesting. And so they do a great job. I didn't mean to belittle them. I think they do a great job. But it's hard. Like, we're members at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, so I think you compare everything to that. It's maybe a quarter of the size of the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So it feels like, oh, well, where's the rest? But it is good. So yeah, we stayed at the Palms of Wailea. It's fine. It's nice. It's
Yeah, we've stayed there many times.
years. No elevators.
No elevators, which was an issue this time.
Yeah.
But managed.
Yeah,
was-
we did
was
it.
Not. I mean, thankfully the parking's not far.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
When you think about some places, like there's that one where you'd always have to go down a path over a bridge and then get to the parking. Like it wasn't like that.
No,
So
that's true.
it's close by to each of the condos, so I think that was a plus for that. We tried new shaved ice.
Yeah, a recommendation from a coworker. Went over to the Gus Bus.
which is an old VW bus.
It's cute. And the guy was great. He was super friendly,
Mm-hmm.
made to order. I thought it was good. It wasn't necessarily the best shave ice I've ever had in my life.
But it was good. It was decent.
But it was tasty, and there was no line and no wait, and he took great care of us, and we all had shave ice for under $50.
Because we originally were going to a different place.
Yeah, we were going to go to Lulani's.
But there was probably 100 people in line.
I mean, it would have taken us
was
over an hour to
crazy.
get shave ice.
And it's a popular place, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've never seen it that busy.
And so it was a quick, like, we didn't even pull in the parking lot. It was just like, keep driving, keep going, keep going. All right. And then I think you made the wrong turn. And when we turned down the street, and I was like, oh, here's the Gus bus.
We'll try this. So
we weren't even looking for it. You knew about it, but you weren't even looking for it necessarily.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot. So, yeah, I felt like Hawaii was busy.
Yeah, I mean,
it felt busier than last year to me.
Yeah, I saw some articles saying that it was up.
Yeah.
That for over the year, it's been way down, like across all of the islands. Maui, I think, has had the biggest kind of resurgence during November, December. But, overall Hawaiian tourism is down.
Yeah.
But it was busy. But it's been busier before, but I think it was definitely busy.
And I think, too, like you just noticed that it's not staffed as well as it used to be for when things were busy. We didn't really have a problem in any of the restaurants. I mean, we didn't struggle to get waited on or anything. But there were definitely like lines for ice cream that were extensive that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And then coming home, we really had a rough airport experience in Maui.
It's mostly just the bag drop. Like the line for the bag drop was
45 minutes we stood in line to drop our bags after we self-tagged them, which I feel like is astronomical.
Yeah.
Like it was just a ton. And I've had that happen one time here in San Jose too. We missed our flight because of it. I don't know if you remember. Were you with me when we did?
I don't know
that
if
was
I
on
was with
Delta. Like we fully missed the flight because they did not take our bags in time. But it was a lot. So Dave was in the boot on crutches, not moving well. And my parents were like, you need a wheelchair. And they couldn't get one. And they finally were like, you have to ask at the desk for a wheelchair.
Yep.
So after Dave went and sat down, and then after Annika and I stood in line for about 45 minutes to drop our bags, we were like, can we also get a wheelchair? And so they went and they brought us a wheelchair, but there wasn't a person to push it.
It's just, here's a wheelchair.
I was the pusher bee. So at that point, and we got there 2 hours ahead of time at the airport. We were maybe 5 minutes behind, but we were not.
Right.
We were pretty timely. And most of the time, too, like, it's not international flight, so 2 hours should have been more than sufficient. Right. But then it just kept escalating. Like, it was so much work to get through the airport and to get to, like, fortunately, we ended up in the ADA line for security. But then they made us take out, even though we're pre-check, we still had to take a bunch of stuff out of our bags.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't. It was almost like they were training those people or something. I don't know. Like it was weird.
It was a little bit different. And then so that we had that whole debacle, and then it took us probably 10 minutes to walk to the gate. So by the time we got to the gate, they were boarding our flight, which is not normally how the Braylons. Certainly not how Dave likes to roll.
No, I don't like to roll in quite like that close. But thankfully, we did get to pre-board-ish.
Yeah, we just sort of made it happen. Like they were boarding families with kids under 2. Drew's 5, but Dave was on crutches. We're like, could we pre-board? And they let us. I think it was in everybody's best interest.
Yeah,
frankly.
I think I mean, I probably could have boarded earlier if we were ready, but we weren't even ready. They had already done, I think.
Yeah.
Or we're doing the pre-board when we pulled up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But the flight was great both ways.
Yep.
On time and Starlink internet again.
I know.
Love that.
Can't beat that. I love internet on the flight.
I did see that United made an announcement. I think it was today or yesterday that they are starting, and I think their first plane's going to have it in spring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
It'll be standard within a couple of years,
It's
I'm
gotta be.
sure. Like, yeah, you would think. I know all these places want to charge for it, but the minute somebody starts doing it for free, they're going to end up in a
yeah.
situation. And I'm sure, like, the employees are going to want it.
Yeah.
Like, it makes a big difference. So I'm sure everybody stays in their seat a lot better when they can stream from their own content, from their own devices, and just
Right.
behave. Like, I'm sure there's an element of behavior that really works in their favor. So
Keep them pacified.
yeah, I know. Exactly. But it works flawlessly. It's shocking to me that everybody can stream from their own device in an airplane over the ocean. Like, it's ludicrous.
Right. It's not even like we're going over the continental U.S. where
Yeah,
might make a little more sense. But when you're literally over the ocean where there's nothing
yeah,
down below.
there's nothing. I know. So, but overall, pretty typical trip. We had hoped to get back up to Kanapali and like try out our beach for the winter,
Hanuakai area again.
but we were not successful.
Yeah.
We did also get the stomach flu.
Yes, you got the stomach flu, so that
Yes.
was about 48 hours-ish. would you
Yeah,
say?
of like just not feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. Well, Dave was not able to do much.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't fully mobile.
Oh, it was just horrible.
Yeah.
So there were some real, like, thank goodness it wasn't a once in a lifetime trip. Like,
Yeah.
I can be grateful that this was not the only time we're ever going to Hawaii. I'm sure we'll be back. I still want to go again in the summer, depending on what our, like, it was a great trip. Why wouldn't I go again?
Indeed. Why wouldn't we?
I don't know. I can't think of a reason.
Well, let's see what's at the auction this year.
I know. So, anything else you want to talk about? I will say, so we tried to order, like, I'm a big fan of ordering groceries in general, just because we both work full time and having to not go to the grocery store saves a fair amount of time. So
Right.
I'm willing to pay somebody to get my groceries so that I can be, I normally think about it as like paying to get my workout in or paying to get extra time with the kids or whatever, because
Right.
it buys me a lot of time. So we did a Target order, was shipped for the first day there. That did not work. The
Yeah.
lines to get into Target were not great. They were pretty extensive, and I know Target's system went down. But my sister was able to do like a Target pickup order on the day that we tried to have it delivered, and shipped never picked up my order. They just couldn't get somebody to do it. So I would not do that again at this point. We've
And-
had better luck with Instacart.
And when I did a Target order many days later, probably 3 or 4 days later,
Yeah.
and it was supposed to be delivered at noon. I think it got delivered at 6
Yeah.
or
It was-
6:30.
Yeah.
Like, so, like way missed the window. Like,
Yeah.
by a long shot. So like it was definitely, at least on the island, we were not impressed
No.
with the.
Yeah, I don't normally do Target delivery at home, so it's
No,
hard
it's
for me
usually
to
Target
compare.
pickup. Usually.
Yeah, but much better luck with Instacart via, the local grocery stores mostly, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a reason for that. But
Yeah, I mean, maybe Shipt just doesn't have a lot of people signed up
yeah, that could be too
on the
in
island. Or something. I don't
But
know.
I was
Maybe there's a
not
money
impressed.
opportunity there if you're wanting to go move,
I know, really.
drive for Shipt.
Maybe. But yeah, so just I think a couple of things that were kind of, that was disappointing. The weather was beautiful. I mean, you can count on
Yeah.
Hawaii to be.
It rained a little bit like at night, but I don't
Yeah.
even know if it rained really during the day.
No.
It was a little overcast, a little windy
days,
a
yep.
couple times, but rented a Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've rented them before, but it's been a lot of years since we
Yeah.
have. I mean, probably 5+ years since we've rented one.
Yeah, a while since we've had 5. We haven't done it with 3 kids.
No.
So there were no minivans available when I went to rent a car. And so we did rent a Wrangler, which meant our 3 kids had to share the bench seat. But as of right now, like, our kids fight about where they're going to sit regardless of the size of the car. So it really doesn't matter. But we popped the front, half of the Jeep off a couple of days, and they got a kick out of it. It was fun. Like, it was easy to take the driver and the passenger pieces off so that it was open air. We left the back on, and then you could put the windows down, and the kids really enjoyed cruising around the island that way. It made them happy. So that was it was a nice, like, especially because it was one of the cheaper cars available, actually.
Which is crazy because it used to be a premium.
I think they just have a lot now. And like, we weren't going to fit in a standard SUV. And we did fit, like, all 5 of us and all our suitcases.
Yeah, which I was worried about. I was sure we were going to need help to get those, or an Uber or something. But thankfully it all fit.
Yeah, we had 3 check bags, 2 carry-ons, and everybody had a backpack.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little snug, but like, there was actually some room. Like I even said, I think we could have fit a stroller, but we didn't have the stroller, thankfully.
Take it. Overall, a good trip.
Yeah.
You would even say that, even though you had just hung out in the condo?
I had other plans for my trip, but overall, we all came home more or less healthy and intact.
Hey.
And I will get this resolved eventually. And as long as it's resolved by the time we go on our cruise / Disney World trip, I think I'll be fine.
Feel okay about it.
I'll survive. I'll probably be better for it in the end. So,
yeah.
It was a good trip. I'm presumably we'll be back there
next year
in December. So
here we go again.
Hopefully we'll be able to have more adventures and newer experiences this next time.
Yeah. I really am enjoying, our kids are really getting into snorkeling. So I think next time we go, I'd like to find, like, I've considered going down to La Perouse Bay. I like a little bit more depth between me and the fish than what that offers. I like to look on the edge. When I took Drew and Emma out snorkeling at Keowakapu, and there's like a cliff that goes out, and it's pretty good. Like, you can get started right away, and there's a lot of like reef fish and things like that nearby, and then you can go all the way around the point, and you can like see turtles and stuff. And it was all fine until we had to come back, and they kept wanting to swim directly into the rocks. I'm like, no, we got to go around. But they're so much smaller, they don't mind. But like, I just don't like it. So and that's what I liked about the North Kaanapali Beach, was that you were in the sand, and then it went kind of right to rocks, and then you could come back to the sand.
But you're pretty close to the reef in the Hanukai.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But you're pretty close.
Yeah, but there's like caverns you can go through, right? Where you're
I see what you're saying.
Swimming with rocks like a couple inches from your belly. Like, I just don't want to get scraped up, and it takes one wave for you to get smashed on the rocks. Like, and you get a kid out there who they get smashed in the rocks. It's all like, it's not all over, but it's a lot of work to get them back. So, yeah.
Okay. Right on. All right. Well, now it is time for the first magical moments of the year. 2025 magical moments. What's your magical moment?
Boy, that is a great question. 2025. We're on day 5 of 2025. It's been a little bit of a hard start. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say, so today I went and I taught combat this morning. I taught a combat exercise class at 7:15. When I came home, everybody was still asleep.
I was not.
You were not. You were up and like showered and everything. But all the kids were still in bed. And it was magical because I felt like,
for me too.
I know. I didn't have to bother Dave. There was no like guilt about having left to go do something for me. It just was like, it didn't impact anybody that I went and did what I wanted and came home, and everybody was still asleep. Now tomorrow, when we have to get up and go to school, it's going to be a whole different ball game. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
But today it was pretty magical.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would say, I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was just like seeing how sympathetic and empathetic the kids were towards me with the injury. It's been, it was very sweet, and like they
did a good job.
Very worried, very thoughtful, all trying to be very helpful, even without being asked and stuff. And like, it was also sweet to see how. I felt bad, but it was still sweet to see how stressed they were about it too.
It was a very stressful situation. I wish.
So like there was blood or anything?
No,
or
like I wish we had just one more minute in Kaanapali to take a picture of us going through the airport with me, like a backpack on my back.
Oh, you mean Kahului?
Kahului.
Yeah.
Backpack on the front, backpack on the back, pushing you in the wheelchair, dripping in sweat, like trying to drag kids along. It just was such a moment.
Yeah. Because you had Drew's backpack on your front, your backpack on the back.
And Emma did manage to carry all her luggage for the first time ever, which tells you something about how she did want to help. So the princess pulled it together. I don't know, did I tell you this story about how we get to the beach and Emma looks around and is like, where's my chair? She is not accustomed to just going to the beach without a chair.
But like, she's never had a chair at the beach before.
Sure, she has. Every time I go to Castaway Key, it's just all
but like not in
or
Maui.
like, I know, but that's not what she thinks of. So
it's not like she, yeah. I mean, she sometimes would steal your dad's, but or your mom's.
She takes everybody else's.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
good times.
But yes, they were very helpful.
Yeah.
So, well, here's to 2025. May it be injury free.
Yes. Yes, please. For us and all of you that are listening, may it be injury free.
Sake. I mean, it's going to happen. If you travel enough, I guess you're going to get hurt and you're going to get sick on vacation. But there's always next time.
And all of you should make it a goal in 2025 to make a magical moment for yourself and for someone else.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah, that's my my charge to all of our listeners.
Let's go get it done.
All right, I think that's all we have for today's episode, but we want to thank you for listening. You can email us at mouseearsinparadise@gmail.com. You can find our social media and links to everything at mouseearsinparadise.com. All right, have a magical week.
See you later.
Bye.
Applause. Applause. We hope you've all enjoyed the show.